Welcome to the Let Us See and Me. I'm Opal McKnight Klein-Sasser, a stage 3 breast cancer overcomer who chose a different path. No chemo, no radiation, no hormone treatment. Hi, welcome to the Let Us See and Me podcast. My name is Opal McKnight Klein-Sasser. I'm here to talk about support where breast cancer is concerned. What really is support? Support is giving assistance to or holding up. And being somebody who worked in the financial industry for over 11 years in Jamaica and then coming here in Canada for about 2 years, you know what I'm going to talk about today? Money. Some people say money makes the world go round, but the Bible says that money answereth everything. And so I'm here to talk about money today, financial assistance. I remember the first time I was diagnosed back in November 2021. I was unemployed. I wasn't working. And so my husband was the only breadwinner and he decided to set up a Gives and Go. And so we set it up and persons gave, and I'm very grateful for everyone who gave, you know, to help me to pay for the naturopathy. And the second time around, my husband was saying, let's set up another Gives and Go. And I told him, there's no way I'm going to do that because some of the things I went through the first time, I'm not going to do it. And again, the Bible says to guard your heart. And how I was feeling, I just needed to guard my heart. I didn't want the thousand questions. I was not at the place where I wanted to explain to persons what happened. I just wanted to deal with it myself. And so I decided not to. And I remember the first time somebody messaged me and asked me, why am I asking for money? No, the person asked me, are you sending your kids to day home? And I said, yes. And he said, why are you asking for money and you're sending the kids to day home? And I said, one of the things that you don't know is that stress increases the cancer cells. So in other words, when you're under a lot of stress, it causes the cancer cells to multiply and spread. And I learned that. And so I continued sending them to day home, not because I wanted to send them out, but I sent them because I knew, one, if I didn't, then I would lose the money I paid because that means I would have pulled them. I would have lost the subsidy from the government. And then two, my stress level would have increased because my son was 4 years old and the other was 2 years old at the time. And these were toddlers who would have demanded my time and my attention when I just wanted to focus on me, not being selfish. But there are times in your life where you have to, my late uncle would say, do you. And I had to do me during that time. The second time around, it's not that we had money, right? And I believe one of the reasons why why the cancer came back is because in about August, when I looked at our finances and I saw that we were in a lot of debt, and I tried borrowing money from the financial institution I worked with. I even offered to put up our house just to get a loan. And they said that we are in too much debt for him to even give us a loan. And then for me, I'm somebody who tried a lot of stuff, and I tried this cryptocurrency thing. It turned out to be a scam and a sham, and I lost 3,000 Canadian dollars in all of this, and it was on my head, to be honest with you. I remember when I did that cryptocurrency thing, I couldn't tell my husband because he doesn't take risks, and I remember one morning I was praying, and the Lord said to me, "You need to tell your husband that you lost $3,000." I started crying and I said, God, I can't. And he said, you have to tell him. And I said, Father, you know he's going to quarrel, and said, you know, we don't have the money. And he took the money to invest. And so I told my husband, and you know what he said to me? It's okay. I was surprised. And so we lost $3,000 on top of what we didn't have. And I believe that's what caused the cancer to cells to multiply. Because I remember I shared with you earlier that the doctor had told me that all of it didn't go away. It was still behind the nipple, and stress is what increased it. And
So I tried several things just to get us to, get out of debt. And a friend of mine who told me about they got a HELOC, home equity line of credit, and she told me about the place. And I was kind of in between two minds whether or not I want to do it. I ended up doing it, and we were able to pay off our debts. Of course, there's a loan against our house. And I was able to pay for my naturopathy treatment without anybody even knowing that I'm doing naturopathy. So, yes, I'm doing naturopathy. And I've been able to pay for it. And why didn't I go begging again? I didn't want to. The Bible says that don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. And I didn't come here to cry today, but it's okay. People will make you feel small. Some people will make you feel small when they're assisting you financially. I didn't want that. I honestly didn't want that. And so after paying our debts, I decided, you know what, I'm going to use up the money that we have left over from our debts to pay for the naturopathy. I invested some of it in my podcast and I'm here today. And that's why I'm here today. Otherwise I would have to be begging. And I think, not think, if I had to beg a second time, to be honest with you, the cancer would have spread because I would have thought of how people would have made me feel, and they would have said, well, why didn't you take off the breast the first time and you're begging? Because sometimes people make you feel very small when they're helping you financially, right? And I didn't want that. I didn't want to have to go to my in-laws, or my the only other person I have is my aunt, and she's retired, and I mean she's very helpful, but I didn't want to go to her. And so we used whatever money we had. Going to California for per is the money that we had, we used up. And do I regret going to California? No, I don't. I'll share that in we talk about prayer. I'll share that in that podcast about prayer and prayer life. But we went there and we were able to pay for it. And so financial support is needed. I had a friend I have a friend actually, she just gave birth about almost a month ago. She was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer too. And my plan was to go to Mexico. Everybody's going to Mexico. Why not? I was able to find $3,000 US to go to Mexico. But then when I found out it would be 3,000 US every 6 months, I canceled the whole Mexico trip and decided to find somebody here local, somebody here in the city that I live in to do naturopathy. And she gave me some money. This lady sent me some money. And I'm just here to say that when somebody's going through cancer, even if they don't ask you, give what you can. If it's a $50, a $20, $100, whatever it is. And even if you can't give, offer to buy them grocery, because it goes a long way. One of the reasons why we ended up in debt is because of me. I know my husband doesn't say it, he may not want to say it, but I had to eat organic food, and that cost a lot of money. Every week I had to be at the supermarket because they're organic and they don't last every week. And we lived off credit cards because I had to find food to eat that would not bring the cancer back. So every week I would swipe a credit card, $100, $150, depending on the fruits and vegetables that I bought. And I would go early on a Saturday morning when you're just putting out the stuff. I'd be at Superstore by 7 o'clock. And I'll be out there by about 8:30, 8 o'clock. And yeah, cost money. And I never said a thing to anybody, right? Because again, I didn't want people to make me feel small because we can't, we couldn't afford it. And so I swiped and I swiped and I moved around money and I swiped. We had about 4 credit cards living off. And when the financial institution that I was with, they gave us a loan and we were able to consolidate or close off a couple credit card, but then that was another loan on top of the other loans. And I just wanted to consolidate all my loans. And so we're able to do that. Why am I telling you my business? Why am I telling you this story? Because financially, people helped and I just didn't want to go back through it. I was going through a phase that I didn't want anybody to ask me anything. And so I used whatever funds I had to take care of me, go to naturopathy. I've been going there since the first week in December. And yes, it has been helping. And again, I just want to say to you, finances help. You don't have to send 500, 1,000, 2,000, but send some money when somebody's going through cancer. It helps. Even if it's to do their fingernails, if they used to do it, or their nails, whatever you want to call it. If it's for a pedicure or manicure or something, but help them because we need it. We do. And some of us might never ask. And I know many persons, even back in Jamaica, I was talking to a lady that I haven't met her physically, but she's also going through breast cancer and she's not working. And it pains my heart that I can't even help her. I was able to send some money to her last year or something like that. But I know she's going through and I wish I could help, but I can't because guess what? I'm in that same situation again. And I'm at a place that this is not a solicitation for money, but I'm at a place where definitely I would I'm I would need some help financially. And this is why I'm talking from my heart today. To say that if you know somebody going through cancer, whether it is breast cancer, lung cancer, whatever it is, any kind of sickness, they need help. And if you can help, help. So again, this is Opal from the Literacy and Me podcast. Thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned as we continue to talk about support. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to The Little C and Me. Remember, overcoming breast cancer is possible without fear, stigma, or compromise. Find more tips on our YouTube channel,